Adjustment. Installation of round and shaped molds. Die installation and adjustment. Before installing the middle die, clean the die hole of the middle turret with the lift head. Position the middle die in the hole by gently pressing the top surface of the middle die with your finger. Install the copper gasket in the upper die. Insert the die mounting rod through the upper punch plate guide hole and forcefully strike the copper pad on the middle die with the die mounting rod until the die completely falls on the underside of the middle die hole. Remove die mounting rod and brass pad. Tighten the die pressing shaft screw and fix the middle die. The top surface of the middle die should not be higher than the upper plane of the middle punching plate. The installation method of other is the same. Installation and adjustment of upper punch. When installing the upper punch, ensure that the punch guide hole and the punch are clean. Apply special lubricating oil on the punch body and insert the punch into the guide hole. Install other punches in the same way. Check that each punch is free to move in its guide hole. Finally, install the upper punching tool baffle and tighten the 2 fixing screws of the upper punching tool baffle. Lower punch installation and adjustment. When installing the lower punch, first remove the transition block, cover the punch body with special lubricating oil, insert the punch into the guide hole, and install the other punch in the same way. After installation, turn the punch plate at least 1 full turn with the hand wheel to ensure that the punch can move freely through the guide CM.
Chapet de punch installation.
First, remove the upper punch baffle and small guide rail. Clean the upper punch thoroughly, apply special lubricating oil on the punch body, and then put it into the guide hole of the upper punch. Make sure the punch can move freely up and down the keyway. Place the middle die on the end of the punch. Tap the punch to position the middle die in the middle die hole. Remove the upper punch and drive the die into place in the normal manner. Replace the upper punch and check that the punch fits freely into the middle die for the entire length. Tighten the die pressing shaft screw. Then install the other lower punch in the usual way. Punch disassembly. To remove the punch and die when disassembled punch, you must first remove some parts from the machine, such as hoppers, feeders, and baffles. Upper punch disassembly. Unscrew the 2 handles on the punch plate and remove the punch baffle. You can pull out the upper punch. Lower punch disassembly. Loosen the 2 fixing screws under the transition block, turn the machine by hand, and pull the lower punch down. That is, the lower punch can be removed. The reverse sequence is installation.
Disassembly.
Loosen the screw of the middle die pressing shaft, but not beyond the edge of the middle punch plate, and use the die ejector rod to ejector the middle die. Repeat for the remaining die. Adjustment. The following have been adjusted before delivery and generally do not need to be adjusted again. When the production specifications change, the following adjustments need to be made. Adjustment of filling amount. By replacing the lower LCM, you can adjust the filling depth of materials, remove the screws under the lower guide rail CM, remove the 2 positioning pin assemblies beside the screws, push the lower CM pad outward, and pull the lower CM out in the clockwise direction. The installation process is the opposite of the removal process. Adjustment of the position of the upper pre-pressure wheel. Open the glass door, observe the upper preload wheel with eye, adjust the upper preload wheel adjusting nut, turn the upper preload wheel shaft clockwise, so that the upper preload wheel rotates from rotation to just not rotating, then turn the upper preload wheel shaft counterclockwise, and then make the upper preload wheel never turn to just rotating. For pressing tablets of the same thickness, only one adjustment is required. Adjust the position of the lower preload wheel. The lower preload adjusting shaft is rotated by spanner, and the position of the lower preload wheel is required to make the punch smooth transition. The lower preload wheel is too high, the noise is large, and the lower preload wheel is too low, which cannot play the role of preload. Adjustment of translation position. The translation control handwheel is located at the rear of the machine. Turn the translation handle to change the pressure position of tablet. The measurement method is to measure the distance between the die surface and the end of the upper punch, generally set between 2 and 6 millimeters. Generally, the depth of the thinner tablet can be adjusted shallower, and the depth of the upper punch can be adjusted deeper when the fine powder is more. Adjustment of feeder platform. Loosen the small screw on the leveling foot and lower the collar. Loosen the large screw on the leveling foot, and then turn the notch bolt left or right to adjust the height of the platform. Use the knife edge ruler and plug size to check the gap between the punch plate and the platform. The platform is 0.1 millimeters higher than the punch plate. Tighten the lock screw, cover the dust cover, and reset the ring. Adjustment of outlet guide. The position of the outlet guide requires that the lower punch is pushed out of the middle die. Generally, the end of the lower punch should be completely flush with the upper plane of the middle plate at the release point. If it is a deep concave tablet, the outlet point should be 0.05 millimeters higher than surface of the middle plate, which is conducive to the exit of the tablet. When the machine leaves the factory, the guide rail has been set. If you want to use a slightly shorter or refinished punch, you need to adjust the height of the guide rail. Installation of scraper assembly. Install the scraper assembly, clamp the carrier slot into one side of the platform, and tighten the finger screw. The scraper and the rear baffle must be in horizontal contact with the upper plane of the middle plate. If it does not remain level, complete the installation of the scraper assembly by adjusting the deformation of the spring plate, screw fastening, etc. Installation and adjustment of outlet device. The outlet device consists of a fixing frame and outlet rod. In order to achieve the best effect, the beginning curve of the outlet rod should be consistent with the inner hole edge of the middle die. The bottom of the outlet pole should be 0.1 millimeters higher than the upper plane of the middle plate, or make appropriate adjustments according to the thickness of the tablet. Tight adjustment. Adjust the switch so that the alarm starts when the upper punch lifts the lower CM 2 millimeters, and the alarm starts when the lower punch lifts the filling protection CM 2 millimeters. Installation of feeder. Push the clean feeder along the upper surface of the platform. Lock the feeder to the lower fastening butterfly nut with a compression handle and push the bushing on the drive shaft down or up to re-engage the transmission coupling of the feeder.
Hopper installation.
The hopper is placed in the top of the machine and connected to the feeder by a telescopic sleeve. Install level sensor and close feed valve. Installation of slot. The outlet slot is fixed to the fuselage by an angular bracket through two elastic locking caps. Machine maintenance, cleaning, and lubrication. In order to ensure the performance and service life of the machine, the following maintenance work should be done regularly according to the frequency of use. System lubrication maintenance. Check the oil content of worm gearbox, hydraulic pump, lubricating oil pump, grease pump, and other systems, and timely supplement and replace regularly when the oil content is insufficient. Maintenance of guide. Often check out the outlet guide, quantitative guide wear, abnormal bump, or abnormal scratch, timely treatment. Mold storage and maintenance. The mold should be removed every shift for cleaning and maintenance, and often check whether the fixing screw of the mold is loose. Remove the unused mold should be cleaned and greased into the mold sleeve. Put into the mold cabinet. Do not rust and damage the mold. Each specification of the punching tool should be managed in different areas to avoid incorrect installation during use. The mold should be stored in a dry, well-ventilated, non-corrosive gas room or a sheltered place. Machine cleaning. Clearance sequence clean from top to bottom, from inside to outside. Tools and solvents used. Tools include clean cotton cloth, brush, toothbrush, etc. Solvents include water, alcohol, etc. Do not use diesel to scrub the oil ring and other parts. Cleaning the hopper. First, remove the bottom hopper at the top of the machine. Clean the inner and outer surfaces with a clean cloth, and finally wipe the inner surface and its dead corners with medical alcohol. After wiping, cover it with a clean plastic film for installation. Cleaning of feeder assembly. Remove the fixing screw on the cover plate of the feeder so that the upper cover is separated from the feeder. Clean the inner cavity of the feeder and the surface of the impeller with a clean cloth. Remove the impeller if necessary for cleaning, and finally wipe the surface of the inner cavity of the feeding tray and its dead corner with medical alcohol. Wipe the impeller, and then install it in its reverse order. Do not soak with water. Cleaning of dust collection cover and pipes. First, Remove the dust collection cover and its dust collection pipe. Wipe the inner surface of the cover with a clean cloth, and finally wipe the inner surface and its dead corners with medical alcohol. Rinse the dust collection pipe with clean water and wait for drying. Cleaning of the output channel. First, remove from the main machine, open the glass cover plate, clean and wipe the inner cavity, and finally wipe the surface of the inner cavity and its dead corners with medical alcohol and install it in the reverse order.
Cleaning of punch plate.
After removing the mold, the surface of the upper, middle, and lower punch plate should be wiped. The die holes of the upper and lower punch plate should be wiped with a brush, and the die holes of the middle punching plate should be cleaned with a lifting head, and then wiped with a clean cloth. Common faults and solutions. Regular inspections can detect wear and tear at an early stage. Under normal circumstances, the wear of parts or stations is very slight, but it is undoubtedly related to the workload of the machine. Minor wear is inevitable, and when abnormal wear is observed, the cause of abnormal wear should be investigated immediately. Feeder impeller stuck. It is possible that the density of the material is too large. The material is more fine powder, and the viscosity is large, and the agglomeration in the feed box increases the resistance of the impeller. Solution: reduce the material flow, adjust the feed speed, change the material characteristics. The seal between the transmission box and the feed tray is worn, and the dust is trapped in the transmission box. Solution: replace the oil seal. Hydraulic pump station is not working. Due to the working discontinuity of the hydraulic pump station, after the system is pressurized to the specified pressure, the hydraulic pump station will stop working and will stop for a long period of time. The hydraulic oil inside the pump body of the hydraulic pump station will leak into the tank, forming a vacuum in the pump body. If hydraulic pressure is required again, the hydraulic pump will not be able to pump hydraulic oil. Abnormal pressure display. The cause may be that the sensor position changes due to vibration. If the sensor is improperly installed or not properly connected, the pressure value detected by the system will be abnormal, and the pressure value on the screen will be displayed as 0 or abnormal. Adjust reset pulse sensor and count pulse sensor. Align it correctly with the pulse point. Outer surface wear of upper and lower main and pre-wheel. The press wheel is too tight to turn. The reason that the pressure wheel is too tight and does not turn is the lack of lubricating oil, so that the pressure wheel shaft and bearing are damaged. Should be repaired and replaced immediately to prevent the press wheel and punch damage. The punch is too tight. The reason is that the fine powder remains in the punching and the lubricating oil is less. The underpunch is too tight, most likely caused by excessive squeezing of the powder through the underpunch tip, and frequent cleaning is recommended. Remove the problem of too little oil. Punch less than 7 millimeters. When the pressure is too large, the punch is easy bending, resulting in too tight. For matters not covered, please refer to the manual or use AR remote operation and maintenance service system.